Hi, I'm Liv.
And I'm Mads, and this is the New Rules podcast.
With Women's Agenda.
Now, we've been having some really exciting conversations about women's sports. I'm not a sporty person. I think my career ended when I was in year 6 and I let go of my role as a sports captain. But I'm so excited about where women's sports is. And I've spoken to people who are becoming fans for the first time in their lives. I'd love to know for you two, what's one of the most exciting things you've seen in women's sports recently?
I think it's hard to look away from the Matildas, and I know that we're going to talk about it soon. But for me, I just love seeing young kids with women's sports jerseys on, like Matildas jerseys, or even having AFLW players on their footy cards. I think that's really cute, and it's exciting to see the next generation get excited about women's sport because that's never really happened before, unfortunately. Yeah. So
I think something that really struck me recently was seeing Courtney Vine being painted in the Archibald Prize, and that painting became a finalist. And I just thought that was such an amazing moment to see a women's sport athlete in that kind of space. And then there was also the mural of Caitlin Ford down in Wollongong. I just was seeing something like that was really amazing, and these are the types of things that really point to change.
We are seeing women athletes, I think, celebrated at a level that I have never seen in my lifetime, and I know a lot of people we talk to in this series have not either. So there's a real excitement. I mean, we've seen Mary Fowler turned into a Barbie doll. We've seen this just sort of craze. It's a craze around these people. So they're being turned into heroes. And Alyssa Healy, the cricket captain, she was saying, when she grew up, it was all the guys. Her role models were men, and now it's really bizarre to her that she's a role model and young boys, young girls are looking up to her. Do you feel that shift as well?
Totally. Yeah, I feel like they've become household names now, and that was never a thing. The only time where women's and men's sport was kind of broadcast at a similar and equal standing is in the Olympics, and that's every 4 years. And so men dominate the spaces in all that time around the Olympics. But now we're starting to see a change slowly but surely, and they're becoming household names, and it's really exciting.
I was actually lucky enough to interview Mackenzie Arnold from the Matildas quite recently, and she was saying that literally 24 months ago she wasn't getting any game time and she wasn't chosen for the squad in the Tokyo Olympics, and she really wasn't much of a name at all. And she was just talking about this incredible transformation she's had personally, where the nation is calling her the Minister for Defence. And she just really is in this state of not quite believing it yet.
Yeah. And
that was just so interesting to hear from her perspective.
It is. It's exciting. It's very exciting. I guess we touched on this a little bit. But Mads, when you were younger, how was women's sports talked about, and what were the kind of conversations you were hearing at school or in the playground with boys and that kind of thing?
Yeah, I think I grew up in a very sporty household with 2 brothers who were sport mad. So I was always around sport, whether I was playing myself or on the sideline of their games or just watching it on TV. So I was very, very familiar with sport, but I think there was definitely, in a grassroots setting, a sense that the girls always came second. For example, I played football or soccer when I was younger, and it was just normal that the boys got the Saturday games and the girls played on Sundays. And Sundays is obviously the secondary option. And it just did feel like girls came in second. And it was also the same with access to the right fields and facilities. Boys got the first choice most of the time. And I think there just was a sense that they had priority. And I don't know if that shifted since, because I obviously have moved on from that now. But yeah.
No chip on your shoulder.
Yeah. But I think it is improving, and girls today are probably having better experiences, but I think there is still a way to go there.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that. I felt very much for part of my high school life, we had a sister and brother school, and our school, I felt like the sporting facilities were you just couldn't even compare. It was unbelievable that we were brother-sister schools, actually, when you looked at the grounds that they had and the sporting facilities that they had. which kind of sent a silent message that sports is not what you need to be focusing on, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. For me, on a grassroots level as well, I also grew up in a sporty household, and I have 3 sisters. So, and my parents played sport. They were great sports people, so they tell me. And so we were always influenced to play sport. And I was playing netball from a young age, which is obviously a female-dominated sport. So I never really encountered gender inequality when it came to sport until I went to high school. And, you know, my dad encouraged me to play rugby and touch and AFL, which I loved. But it was there that I encountered the inequality. And then even later on, when I left high school, I played AFL for a few years. And just being in the local club there, I noticed a lot of inequality in the same way that you did. Like, if it was raining, it was always the girls' game that got cancelled, but the men would play. Even like standing in a huddle with the men's team, the coaches would address them as the boys, and we'd be standing there as well. So just little things like that just showed signs that there was a long way to go for becoming more gender equal at a grassroots level, which ultimately impacts women staying in sport and then going on to be professional athletes.
And I think that's where it is, right? So we are all excited. There's huge change happening, and there's a buzz that we haven't seen before. The boom is happening. But on the ground, what needs to really change so that it isn't just a boom and bust sort of situation. This is actually something that's going to bring a pendulum swinging kind of shift in women's sports. So hopefully, I guess time will tell, right? I don't know.